I'm going to just read precisely for 10 minutes, I better time myself, from my book called From the Poplars. I'll just say briefly about the book that this is a 2-year study that I undertook of a place so-called Poplar Island. Those of you who live in New Westminster or perhaps travel or take the train to and from, you may know the Scott Paper Factory or the Kruger Paper Factory. Right across from that is a small island. So I grew concerned and interested and spent a couple of years trying to understand what that island was. The island, I'm told, is not for sale. I'm surprised to be mistaken as a potential buyer. At planning, their recollections of the place are of ownership and of issues. I describe my project and they express a kind curiosity, perhaps even delight. How to say, then, that this effort is an outcrop of disunity, a gross sense of settlement in the royal city, a call and a response. I could not explain my purpose other than to say I am writing a book of poetry, a minor purchase of property. And the pages, damaged, restored, discolored, stained or detached wholly or partially obscured by errata slits of tissue, is refilmed for the best possible quality of the image. And the following diagrams will illustrate the method. Poplar Island, pop, patrie, individuated, alike, lazaretto, a lazaretto, like Kamau Tarua, North Brother, Angel. Our current worst conditions of confinement, subjects of capture, property in the strictest sense. Bound in a given moment, called to ground, unitary in the midst, scattered, breathing. This next while is a kind of evolution. Stratifying dialects from a strict sense of words. There are formal markers for ship makers. The soluble paper is ever sand. Phonetic, social, generations, and forth. Demonstration parcels bought and sold repeatedly as the record shows stolen. As light comes up over the southeast bridges, is normative and quieted, that a place told you that it was bleeding into the snow. Born and cut with no language to remember the storage pits, the caches, the hanging lots for crows. As land sounds lean into sleet cottonwood trees, in the dark of the winter, the growing tips see the light, causing seedlings to bend towards the source. Whiles before people were disposed in a $100 hospital, corporeal lessons lean toward shared logics and finer beats, for the old lamps to show the whips still stuck after centuries in the old wounds. I write these pages to an opposite shore, to the land beneath here. An eye on pavement or other words over centuries of rotting matter. So sanctuary monoglot accent, the island passed back into non-standard. Trees suffer catenary curves of ivy and gossamer, and the signal lines tremble. A sway and song, a sway and song put to order, to archive, under English cloak. Listening horizons burst new density. This time an eye wants to pull apart as well. Words, light, rain, composed upon a bridge in the smokeless air. Romancing words from the sky bridge, in the golden dawn pouring over wakening condos, or supplanted industry. Routes you give in strings and I take as ligaments, call it to the surface, as revolution is a minimal surface. The most minimal surface other than the plane. The plane, a smile, a bloom, curved up into sepals, on like petals past the parapet, widening to the throat, and the lingual bone thumbed to the spine. Riparian causeway to ocean, audible integrity, bending moments, cable stayed. I draw in the learn by heart years now of seasons, this presence I've passed by often, and most often I see it at dusk. Less in the hitch and turmoil of mornings from that rare seat by the window, an island, or each spot on land. It's infinite and it's tractable. Passing by stones, remember grandmothers. Every point of loss. Others here, well, we have heard of each other. Handles, under Poplars' lore. The colonial courts determined, people sway, cease, soar. The maps are not the territory. They are not these hills. Immediate transformation, becoming starts pinpoint, though the maps interpret, automatic, and breathe. This next while is just a few centuries. Morning glories of Linnaeus's garden shine a quarter, spark the red spindles annularly soaring flames of oily brutality, trunks, conditions, circle finer circle, whole on a plain spinal course, run through nerves, recount of 1889. As settlement spread up the Fraser River, an epidemic occurred in 1889. Because it was not connected to any other part of New Westminster, Poplar Island was chosen as a place to quarantine smallpox victims. In July, New Westminster Mayor John Henry reported to council that, quote, prompt steps had been taken to prevent the spread, and that a good hospital had been created on Poplar Island to which patients, as far as known, had been removed. City Minutes, July 1889. $100 was spent to build the hospital. It is believed that many Native people from around Vancouver were transported to Poplar Island during the epidemic, and very many may have been buried there. It's from an essay by Ken Wilkinson. $3,396 was spent to build the Royal Columbian Hospital a few years earlier. Lights methodically turn on over the trails. Urban lit sodium incandescent will be blue soon. History that no one holds, of interiors only imagined. Homeless encampment slats and garbage bags full of newspapers. Dry leaves took the island one spring. Another short while. An optical unconscious grasp at action. Four calm needs overcome, become intimacies, become respiration. Endowment, endowed by forces of nature. Forces such as forest fire. Darkened, save the plumed out stack, bowed out steam system, evaporation microanatomy, adhesion, stumps. Streaming silver blue roofs, trains below, trains above, upper tacking texture lines, cracked floor of dry river tracks trace alongside nation majorities' idyllic sense of security, while the minorities are pauseless and respect, picking berries on the side of the road, and assertions of sovereignty. I think I'll leave it there for now. Go back.